It's live.
Hello. It's live.
Hi, friend.
Hello. What you cooking for us?
So,
you.
Good thing that scrolled right by.
At the perfect time.
Question. We are cooking peanut noodles with veggies.
Okay. Excellent.
Cold peanut noodles. They can be a little bit warm. They taste amazing cold. This dish is one I used to get all the time, or similar. It's sort of my 10 years later version of that place. Remember that place on Haight Street we used to go to all the time, the little noodle shop when we lived.
Yeah, what was that called?
Oh
God.
I can't think of the name of it. It's still
Me
there.
neither. Is it?
It's still there, yeah.
Wow.
Cold, I keep wanting to say cold noodle. That's not it.
I wanted to say something leaf. The something leaf. I don't know.
Anyway, back in the day, we used to go there, right, all the time.
Yeah.
And the noodles taste super good cold. But the reason I like it actually is because the sauce is made with pantry ingredients and it comes together really quickly. So
awesome.
I've got my water boiling here. Ooh.
Okay.
See that? It's like smoke signals. Can you? This is super fast dish too, so I thought it would be the good one. Good first one. I also have rice stick. Have you ever had rice?
Okay. I don't know what that is. No.
It's like what Vietnamese and Thai and a lot of Southeast Asian rice noodles. For some reason, they're called rice stick. I actually don't know why, but I always felt.
I've definitely seen that on the menu places and been hesitant to order it because I'm like, what is rice?
Of noodle, like a stick of rice.
Yeah.
A grain of rice. I don't know. I always like it. There's different sizes and shapes of rice stick that you can get. They're really easy to find in my grocery store here. I'm sure in yours too. They cook super, super fast. So we're going to do that. They all cook a little bit differently. So sometimes you need to actually boil them like pasta. Sometimes you need hot water, but to turn off the heat and let them steep in it. But they always come in a package that tells you exactly what you need to do. So just cook them however your brand says. And
is that frozen or is that just dried? I can't tell.
It's dried. That said, this one says to cook these noodles in the sauce, and I'm not going to do that. So there are very helpful package instructions that I'm in no way going to follow because I just want mine boiled separately. So I'm going to do that.
Great. In the meantime, do you want to tell any person who might be watching how we know each other?
Yeah, why don't you do that while I put this in?
Well, once upon a time, many, many, many years ago, I believe that I had to look this up to try to figure out when exactly it was. I moved to San Francisco in December of 2003, and I started at CBR January of 2004.
5.
No, because you want to know why I think this is. When I was looking up pictures and stuff. You all right there?
I'm a professional. I just stuck my finger in the boiling water. Professional, that's why it didn't hurt that much. If you do that, you'd have to go to the emergency room, and we're on shelter in place, and you really don't want to go to the emergency room.
Okay, when we went to Cabo, was that like after New Year's or after Christmas one year?
These are like sizzling in a really weird way.
You're not answering my question.
Sorry.
You were supposed to cook it in the sauce. This is what happens when you start breaking rules.
When you don't follow the instructions. I was in college until spring of 2004, and I have a degree to prove it. It's like 2 by 2.
Right. So, and then when did you move to San Francisco?
Right after. So I moved in August 2004. So you started December 2004, not 2000.
Oh, okay. So I started in December 2004. I mean, I moved in December 2004 and started in January 2005?
Yes. Has to be.
Interesting. Okay. So when did we go to Cabo? 2 minutes. Okay.
I don't know. After that.
Wow. I have pictures from our 2005, 2006 New Year's, and that was, I don't know. I gotta send you these things. This is all just not adding up based on other things.
No way. We met at a job.
We started at CBR. I started at CBR, and I was seated right next to. We had cubicles. It was an inside sales job, and there was 4 little pods together in each cubicles in each pod. And right behind me was a very loud salesperson named Allison Clement.
That's right. And I thought you seemed pretty cool, and I didn't have any friends at the time, so my bar was really low, but I was worried because you have really big fake nails. And when you did,
they were not really big by any standards of nails. They were just like regular nails.
When you did your piping with your nails, I thought, she's fine, but this is not going to be a long-term thing.
Turns out it was. And I no longer have those nails.
It's true. I will say you did stop biting your nails.
Yeah, I no longer bite my nails. Thank you very much.
Because of the fake nails. So I guess point for you on that.
Great jokes on you.
All right, wait.
What are you chopping over there?
I have shallots, and I have garlic, and I have fresh ginger. I'm going to bet you don't have fresh ginger sitting around in the produce drawer of your house. You probably don't have a shallot either, do you?
First of all, I feel like those were both really judgmental. I'll have you know, I would have shallots and ginger both if they'd been at the store, but I do not at the moment.
Your normal pantry list? Like your normal just...
Yeah, because I cook a lot of Asian-inspired stuff. And so I typically will have ginger. And shallots, I use shallots for a lot. I like shallots in my tuna salad.
Shallots fancy for somebody who used to wear fake nails.
What can I say? I've grown.
2 minutes. The thing about rice noodles, they can get overcooked really quickly. And there's no coming back from overcooking them. So I'm going to give those another couple seconds. But this is like not the thing you kind of want to walk away from. There's no forgiveness on rice noodles if you overcook them. So write that down. Are you taking notes or something?
Nope. I'll just call you next time I'm trying to make this if I need help.
Fair enough. Good. Okay. You have a choice to make, A or B. Do we want to make this sauce in my NutriBullet blender? Do people have these kinds of like upside down blenders at home? Or when you think of a sauce that has to go in a blender, are you like, ugh, it seemed easy until she made me put it in the blender?
I do not like it as much because it's like harder to wash. I feel like it's more of a problem, but I'll do it. But
do you want to do the mason jar version?
Yeah, let's do the mason, because you can keep it in the mason jar. It's not like it's like one step.
Okay, I'm going to drain my noodles. So tell them about our podcast.
Oh, look, I'm able to put comments on here.
Yeah. Oh, I missed it. What did it say?
It was from Lori. Oh, you want to see it again? So sweet.
Oh, mine, Shimmy. I know. Mine is chilling in the fridge. We're going to celebrate.
Delicious. It's actually champagne. I decided, Allie reminded me that champagne's really the all-day alcohol. So I went ahead and popped the cork. Also, it's the first episode back together again. It deserves some bubbles.
Okay, so sauce. So if I was going to put this in the blender, the benefit of the blender is that you can definitely leave big chunks. You don't have to chop.
Yep.
So like, you have to choose washing your blender or chopping more. So somebody asked me yesterday, I started doing this like an Ask Me Anything on Instagram. And somebody asked me how you become like a great chef. Obviously, this is somebody without kids who was sitting around and being like, maybe I should become a great chef in quarantine.
Yeah, I remember when you did that. There was a day when you sat around and were like, how do I become a chef?
Yeah. My quarantine is more like, how many boxes of mac and cheese do we have? And at what point do we cross the line into that being bad parenting by only feeding my kid a box of mac and cheese?
I mean, I feel like it has to be a lot of boxes before that's a problem.
Yeah, so far I can say like 5 boxes in, he's fine. But anyway, one of the answers to how you become a great chef is to practice. And really, I remember when I was in culinary school, they definitely said, like, think of every time you chop something as an opportunity to chop it better. So obviously, you know, you're not going to be able to perfectly chop your onion or whatever every time. But if you think about doing it right, you know, make your little claw, hold your knife right, and think about, even though this is going to all get chopped up, like how can I?
You taught me how to hold a knife when you were in culinary school. The proper way of holding the knife, like up exactly like that. And that is now how
because
like that.
Control over it. Look at this.
Right.
This is the best content on the internet right now. You actually grab it like this, choke up like it's a baseball bat, and let's see, can you see the other side? You put your thumb on the blade, and then you feel really connected to it.
It was life changing, and now that is the only way that I chop.
This is another question I love that people always ask is like, how you know if you have a good knife. This is my other favorite thing to say. So can you see this? This blade is one piece all the way through to the end of my handle. Yeah. And cheaper knives stop right here, and then they just stamp the handle on the end of it, so that when you're holding the knife, you're only holding the handle and the blade's kind of separate. And eventually after washing it, the glue can kind of loosen up, and then it starts being wobbly and stuff. So if you have a one-piece knife, it's going to be more expensive to start, but it will pretty much never fall apart and will last you for years if you take good care of it. Okay.
Yeah, you actually bought me my favorite knife, which is that Global knife.
Oh, yeah, when those were really trendy. Do you still use that?
Oh my God, I use it all of the time. I love that knife.
That was, I mean, the Global knife, that's definitely, gosh, those were like maybe what, 2006? Those were really, really trendy.
I really feel judged once again. Are you saying my knife is like so 2006? You know what? It works great and I like it.
It is. No, it's great. I actually think in terms of like an investment, a piece of kitchen equipment, if you can use it that long, like that just proves that it's worth buying a good one to start.
Yeah. Honestly, I just saw David Chang say, and I'm pretty sure, I think he held up a Global knife. It looks the exact same as the like little dots, saying that was his favorite knife.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Probably. I mean, something else I bought you once that I kind of need now were those onion goggles. Remember those? They look like
Steve. Oh yeah, I still use those. What do you mean remember? I use those all the time when I chop.
Okay. So
because I cry so much when I cut onions, it's upsetting. So I use the onion goggles. They were an excellent purchase.
That's amazing. Next week. So, okay, here's the premise of our show. We are going every Friday and we're going to swap back and forth. So today you get me cooking. I've made my career as a professional chef for like 15 years or whatever, since I left the job where we met over cubicles and fake nails. And you are a regular person who has to feed your family and cook every day.
That's honestly one of the best descriptions of me I've ever heard. Regular person seems like I'm hitting really high right now.
Can we have like, this is Chef Allison, professional chef, 16 years of experience, and then regular person.
Just put mushroom next to my name.
With shampoo.
Lump.
I love it.
I want to keep the expectations very low.
I maintain, and we'll have to see how this goes, obviously, and hopefully, you know, somebody will watch this on the internet and tell us, but I think that in some ways you're going to be the more interesting and relatable component of this because, you know, one of the reasons I was inspired is there's all these memes and jokes going around about professional chefs at home in their kitchens right now, trying to teach you how to do ridiculous things. And you need to do real life things, basic things. Everybody's trying to find a new normal and all that. So in some ways, I think you will be the more relatable cook. So we'll see. But you need to wear your onion goggles next week because I do think they need to make an appearance.
The onion goggles are worth the purchase, folks. If you cry a lot when you cut onions like I do, I mean, it like hurts my face if I don't wear the goggles. I love the goggles. And when I chop onions, Eloise always comes in with sunglasses now because she wants to also have onion goggles.
That's amazing. Okay,
I'm making them cool.
Can you see this?
Yes. Okay, shallot and garlic. Is that what that is?
I'm like this. I don't know my left from my right, and I have a hard time lining it up with my camera. This is shallot, garlic, and ginger.
Okay.
The thing about this sauce is really good with the fresh ingredients, but if you don't have any of these things fresh, you can use garlic powder, onion powder, and if you happen to have ginger, you can use a little bit of ginger. But also if you don't have even like powdered ginger left over from some like pumpkin pie or something you made in the fall, you can just leave it out. It's not that big of a deal. It's not gonna make.
So the ginger today looked really pathetic at the store. So I ended up buying already, like in a jar.
That's actually really good too. I usually don't buy the garlic that way, but I think that's just like a snobby preference that's not really based in anything. Like, I don't know why it wouldn't taste.
Well, this is ginger.
But the ginger we do buy. There's a brand called Ginger Peoples. Someone reach out to them and see if they'll sponsor us now that we're plugging them.
Yes, exactly.
They have a really, really awesome jarred chopped ginger. They also make like a little jar of pickled ginger that I could see.
Oh, yeah. I think that's who I got actually.
It's so good. Okay. So we're going to add the other ingredients, but the first thing I'm going to add is peanut butter. So my very unfood snobby preference is sweetened, smooth peanut butter. I hate natural peanut butter. I think it's gross.
I only buy natural. It's what I grew up on, and my mom would be horrified if I ate Skippy.
The idea of stirring the peanut butter and all that oil going over and that clumpy concrete mess at the bottom, like, it's one of my biggest frustrations. It makes me so angry. I'm not into it. So my recipe was written for Skippy.
Okay.
But if you want to use your natural stuff, whatever. So we'll put a little peanut butter in here. And then I have this honey. So going on the opposite end of the scale, my neighbor actually has bees and makes this honey. So this is like Golden Gate Park honey. So at different times of the year, she will like tell me where her bees were hanging out. Apparently, like in the different seasons, like sometimes they go into Golden Gate Park, so it's like eucalyptus honey. Sometimes they go in the neighbor's backyard or near like all the flowers and things like that. When the citrus trees are blooming, they'll go and they'll hang out in the citrus, and that's how you kind of get like orange blossom honey, it's so cool and it's really good. Bell bee honey is what she calls it. So I always buy it from her.
Nice.
Sometimes though it gets really thick and creamy, so
yeah,
I'm gonna put it in with my peanut butter because we're gonna microwave this. Good trick. So what I was gonna say is the friend you need. We had a podcast. We did that. That was a couple years ago.
You only had one kid then, way back then.
Yeah, it was like 4.5 years ago. You have 9 now, though. That feels accurate. 9 kids. Feels really like I might.
No, it wasn't 4.5 years ago. Is it that long ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, when did you move back to LA?
I moved back here in April of 2015.
It was like 5 years ago.
It's right before but that's when we started it.
Yeah.
That's not when we ended it. Oh yeah, that's when we started it.
So, okay. So, everything kind of got all melty
mixed together. Mm-hmm.
There is a recipe for this. I think we can link it right below this in the comments if you guys want to actually make this. One of my favorite things about this is that the sauce will stay good in your fridge for seriously, I don't know, a month, 2 months. Like, it doesn't really go bad. And it tastes great over, like, if you have like sauteed chicken, if you have even beef, like, you don't know what, somebody was asking me what to do with stew beef. That wasn't a super stew. So if you have kind of bigger chunks of stew beef, you can make sure they're really, really, really super cold. Even maybe put them in the freezer for a couple minutes. And then slice them really thin. And then you can weave them onto skewers and then like saute them like a satay kind of thing. But stew beef would be a great cut for that. And it's really different than making a stew. But if you have that.
Or tofu.
Or over tofu, yeah. And then add this sauce over it. Super good. Okay.
Eat those mussels.
Yeah.
I'm going to be so sad not to eat this when it's all done.
No. See?
Looks lovely.
Right?
How are your rice sticks?
They're just chilling in the sink. Okay. Oh, it's good. I'm gonna add more sesame oil. I love the taste of sesame oil.
So do I.
I am also going to add, I don't have any rice vinegar, so I'm just using white vinegar
Wow.
a little bit. And I am going to add, where is it? I was going to add fish sauce because that gives it like a really Thai flavor. Do you have fish sauce at home?
I do have fish sauce at home.
Why can't I find it?
I would loan it to you if you were closer.
I know, right? Just reach through. Okay, I don't have if you're using Hippy Dippy peanut butter, then you're gonna want to possibly put more sugar in it. My peanut had a little bit of sugar, plus my honey had a little bit of sugar. So, but the really good thing about this is you kind of can't go wrong. Good. It's just like to taste. So this is warm now. So I'm gonna. Lime. Lime. Okay. I'm gonna do a little zest first. Then add to it. Okay. Anyway, long-winded. Back to, we did a podcast. It was called The Friends You Need, and
that's true.
Our premise was that we had been friends in San Francisco for like a decade, and then you moved back to your home in LA, and we did it as a way to stay in touch. And I had just sold my business and kind of quit my job, and you had just moved, and we're trying to figure out what you were doing. And then we did our podcast, and it was great.
You did. Yes, it was so much fun.
It was super fun, but it was hard to keep up.
A lot of work.
Started Ends and Stems, and just was like pulled in too many directions.
You started a business and had a second child, all within.
That's right. So we stopped for a little while, and some people have actually occasionally asked us to start it over and over.
Yeah, true.
Amazing. Those are our favorite people, obviously.
Shocking, but.
And yeah, so this is a better way to do it. It's so much easier. We don't have to edit it. We don't have
we probably should if we wanted quality content, but we're not going to do that. So get what you get.
But I think that's the point of streaming. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so I've got a bell pepper. I'm just going to cut it really thinly. So you can go two ways with this. I actually love the version with cucumbers. I don't have a cucumber right now. So I'm just going to saute these vegetables just a little bit to kind of take off the completely raw bite of them. So I'm going to chop them up. I'm not going to cook them for very long, though.
So, Allie, I have a comment to show you.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
It says Bobby C is now watching.
Oh, excellent. Hi, Dad. And he figured out how to comment, which is pretty impressive. So
that was from Patty.
Well, that's because he doesn't have social media, so he hides under. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on live TV or whatever.
He hides through Patty's account.
So I texted my dad and my brother this morning because I was cooking lunches for the nurses at UCSF. Last catering job in San Francisco, and I always give them a treat because I figure nurses need cookies or pick me up or whatever. And I made oatmeal cookies, and my dad and my brother and I feel very strongly that one of the worst things you can do to anyone,
put raisins in it.
Put raisins, and I know that you're on Team Chocolate Chips.
Oh my gosh, 100%.
So
I am down with raisins, just period, in general. Don't put them in anything.
I was like, you guys, I've done something very shameful this morning. And I was like, I put raisins in the oatmeal cookies. And my brother texted me back. He said, are you sick? Is this a cry for help?
It's the only answer.
But I only have a limited amount of chocolate chips, and I figured it was a good spot to put the raisins. Okay. I'm going to heat up my pan a little bit. Little bit of.
I would actually take a cranberry over a raisin.
You have one of these?
No, I use the regular bottle because I'm not fancy. Okay.
I'm gonna mail you one of these. This is like my favorite. This is actually an amazing like way to save money because. Sorry, I'm eating carrot. You just so much less comes out, and if you're not sitting there actually measuring, you can actually put a smaller amount without like glugging too much in. It's also your dishes and stuff once you actually wash them because everything's not coated in olive oil going down the drain. So if you're worried about your kind of olive oil habit, go for one of these for sure.
Okay.
Okay, I'm heating
Good
this.
to know. I'll look for mine in the mail.
That's right. Okay, I'm gonna toss those in. I have carrots, I have peppers. Like I said, you could do this with you do it with cucumbers, you could do it with snap peas, would be amazing. You could do it with green beans.
Your dad's comments are cracking me up.
What's his
He
name?
just said perhaps cranberries from Plymouth, Massachusetts.
Instead of raisin?
You know what? That rock was disappointing. I'm here to tell you. The
Why? Because it's only this big?
yes.
Who's
Yes.
been to Plymouth Plantation?
Plymouth Plantation. Yes, please hit like if you've been to the plantation. That was a great experience. I'm not going to lie. That was awesome. But the rock, don't bother. Don't go. It's a disappointment. It's tiny. It's like it's like a pebble.
When you say The Rock, people are going to think you're talking about The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and we don't ever talk bad about The Rock.
The only person that thinks that is you. Little known fact, Allie has the hot for The Rock.
We only say good things about The Rock on this show.
All right. I mean, he's great. He's great.
Somebody else asked me on Instagram what to do with a bunch of leftover celery. They bought it for one thing and wanted somewhere else to put it. So in this type of dish, I like celery leaves more than the actual celery. So I'm just I have like the insides of the celery and then you can pluck off the leaves. And if
you told me about that for tuna, and it's my most favorite thing to put in tuna salad now is the leaves.
It's like a subtle taste.
They're very nice.
Instead of biting into a big, like stringy thing of celery. The problem is the stalk doesn't come with that many leaves. But even if you get a whole head of celery, the big green leaves and stuff on the top, they make a great topping. You could even put these just on like a side salad as a topping on your, It's like, people might do it in a restaurant with like parsley leaves or something like that. But if you don't have any other herbs, this would be a great use.
Yeah.
All right, ready?
I'm ready. Very impressive.
I'm trying to look at the screen while I do this. All right, how's that?
Beautiful. Love the bell pepper content.
You know what the word saute means?
Do I no? I
Jumping.
mean, I know what it is to saute, but okay.
Basically, it's jumping because of this.
Oh, nice.
I think that's true. Someone fact check that. Do you have a fact checker?
We do not. But I think that would be a great policy just right now. Double check everything we say on this. It's very likely that there's misinformation.
On the bottom. Opinions stated are not yet
our own. Yeah.
That said, we don't want to do anything to add more misinformation to Facebook. So we will stick with opinions on things that don't matter, like whether or not stuff is good. Do you have one of these?
I do have a mandolin, yeah.
This is my favorite. That said, if you cut yourself on this, that's the worst. So again, let's not do that. But you could cut this by hand. I have red cabbage. Another part of my like quarantine efforts to get the word out was to start vlogging, and I've never really done it consistently before. And as I was thinking, like, what should we start with? I decided to start with 400 words about why I love cabbage.
Okay, great.
So, I figured that would be, isn't that what the internet is?
Yes. I mean, I feel like we've been missing a lot of cabbage content on the internet. So I'm glad to see that you're going to fill that gap.
You are in the right place for cabbage content. This thing has been in my fridge for seriously like 3 weeks, and it's totally fine. It's still crunchy. If it were looking really brown on the edge, you could slice off a little bit, but especially for right now, it's a great thing to pick up because it's an actual vegetable, but it lasts longer than lettuce. You can use it in a whole bunch of different ways. You can cook it, you can have it raw, you can make slaw. So I am like the Bubba Gump of cabbage. Good one. All right, so I'm going to do a little bit of cabbage here. Nobody lost a toe.
It's fine.
This is why you can't have
all fine.
Or toddlers in the kitchen. Okay.
Are you going to cook the cabbage or just use it as a garnish?
I am not going to cook it. I'm going to leave. So I'm going to do, this is like half cooked, half not, right? Okay. Cabbage is done. By the way, if you're focused on this dish, it takes like 10 minutes to make. I also some lettuce that's just chilling in the fridge. So I'm going to use this, and I'm just going to do this with my knife and cut it really thin. Call this shreddis.
Kate's favorite.
So, okay. Now I'm going to go get a really large bowl. Oh, what else do I have here? I have some scallions, just two. That in there. So I'm going to just trim the end of them. I like the whole part of these. So I'm just going to chop those in half. Can you see a little bit?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, so I'm going to keep these raw. If you don't like the raw green onions, I know we have Patty watching who does not like raw onions. So I would not put those in for her. Do you know how much my brain is devoted to remembering what other people dislike eating?
What do I dislike eating?
Raisins, chicken, especially if it has bones in it.
Oh, God. Oh, don't. No.
I don't know. I
eat a lot. There's very few things that I don't like.
Those are the two big ones I can think of. I mean, chicken's the big one for you.
Ooh, it's too chickeny.
Yeah.
I will eat it under certain circumstances. It's not my favorite and would not be my pick. And certainly not with bones. Oh, God, no.
I got my noodles over here. So you can hear me.
We hear you.
Noodles.
Beautiful.
I'm going to scrape all of this colorful stuff in.
Looks lovely.
I'm going to put this. You see that? Don't touch the hot pan.
Oh, my mother-in-law came in with the I don't like tomatoes.
Tomato.
I feel like that's only partly true. I don't like bad tomatoes, mealy tomatoes. And so sometimes I won't have tomatoes on things because I don't trust other people's judgment with tomatoes. Nothing ruins a sandwich more than a mealy tomato. But a good tomato, I'm good with.
I think that's kind of a different thing. I feel the same way about that.
I feel like people really misjudge tomatoes, though, a lot. It's made me a little gun shy in the tomato situations. But that's true. A lot of times I will say no tomatoes.
I added a little bit of water to this.
Okay.
You know, tomatoes have a season, but they're one of those things that we treat like they
continue to grow. Like strawberries. I have to tell Eloise all the time, like, the strawberries are garbage right now. Like, she always asks for strawberries. They're her favorite fruit. And God love her, there's only about, 4 months where they're decent.
I think that's probably even
generous.
Yeah. But that said, they're starting to be good up here. But we live near, one of the best strawberry growing regions there is. Watsonville, Santa Cruz is where the strawberries come from, those farms, inside Santa Cruz. You get them a little bit longer and better than almost everywhere else. Okay, tossing this.
Looks lovely.
If you wanted to add chicken to this, if you wanted to add shrimp to this, if you wanted to add shredded or sliced beef, you could add what would be good? Chicken or turkey meatball kind of things and serve those underneath that. You could add tofu. What else? What could you not add to this? That might be lamb.
Lamb. I mean, I never cooked lamb, so
actually, okay. I'm putting my my celery leaves in there.
Looks good.
Right?
Yum.
Noodles are really nicely cooked. And
despite you not following the directions.
I have this weird, can you see my face? This weird, purple tunnely thing. And the motion of squeezing tongs is so hard for me. It's my whole hand just cramps up.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's not good. Okay. So I really wish I had a cucumber here, I would tell you. Especially if you're going to serve this cold. The addition of the cold, crunchy cucumber is pretty amazing. Okay.
And a wedge of lime.
And a wedge of lime. I actually meant to put the lime in my sauce. But you could do that over top. little bit of lime there. Yum, yum, yum.
Looks good.
And peanuts.
Oh, okay.
All right. Peanuts. So you could eat this.
Yum.
You could eat this after it sits in the fridge for a little while. Sriracha.
Excellent.
Getting low on sriracha. This is going to be like a panic point here in a minute.
I know.
And my favorite. I'm obsessed with sesame seeds recently.
Me too. I love, when you said how much you love sesame oil, it's one of my favorite things. I always put that in my.
I've been making a lot of, maybe I'll make it for one of them, is just using so much tahini recently, which sesame seed paste.
I need a good tahini salad dressing. Can you send me something for that?
Yeah, we can do that one. That's really easy. All right, let's see.
Yum. Get it closer. Get it closer.
Yeah,
I need to see the details.
My computer.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I should take a picture of it so that we can post it below it, right?
Yeah.
So our plan here, right? We're gonna come back next week.
Yeah.
Thereafter. And how's this look? And the idea is like our podcast, we used to have a topic, but now we're gonna have a topic and a recipe. So I feel like we need to tell them, my dad and your mother-in-law, that
our family who watches, we love you. Thank you.
In Las Vegas, obviously, like everything worthwhile starts when we're on vacation. Remember? And what were we looking for?
Oh yeah, the friends you need.
Yeah.
I mean, it came from kind of a judgmental place, truthfully. Remember, we saw what people were wearing around?
That doesn't seem right.
What happened to your champagne?
It might not be champagne. Can I still drink it at noon by myself?
Yeah.
Running outside?
Seems reasonable. Sure. I like that you got a flute for it.
I think it's just white wine.
Cheers.
So, yeah, I guess it did start from a sort of judgmental place.
Well, Vegas, if anyone's been to Vegas, there were daytime outfits that were barely outfits. There were things that were just frightening to be seen out and about in daylight hours. And we just said, where are their friends? They need a friend to just be like, you know what? Maybe a different scenario would be a great place for that outfit. But I don't know if like noon is the best time to wear that.
Your skirt's tucked into your pants.
Yeah, things like that. Exactly.
So we decided I think it was your mom's idea, to tell you the truth. We were going to start a service as the Friends You Need. It was going to be a service for people who needed a little bit of help. Years later, turned it into a podcast. Now we've turned it into a cooking show. I hope you guys make this recipe. It's really good. And it's
And where can they find the recipe? We're going to put that on
the recipe.
Everything.
It's linked in the notes. This is the first one. So I obviously can't see what it looks like on Facebook right now, but I think it's linked underneath it.
Okay.
Otherwise, they can find it on the Ends and Stems business page, which is where this is streaming to. And then I think after this, I can make sure it's linked underneath, and I'll put the photo in there as well. So
great.
Let me know. I think is it also linked on Instagram? I'm not sure. Definitely on the Stems Instagram, I can link it. So
yeah,
all of the places. If you can't find it,
we will post it on Instagram too as a IGTV situation, and we can post, a link to the recipe.
We're gonna post it everywhere.
It'll be all over.
What are you cooking?
All the places.
I'm so
I am
next week on the couch and
watch. Great. I feel very relaxed during this whole situation. I am gonna do crispy rice.
Oh yeah, good one.
Which I had seen one of the Bon Appetit. I subscribe to the magazine. I also follow a bunch of their people on Instagram. All these like young 20-somethings living the life in New York, cooking good food and going to eat at great restaurants. They're worth following. Anyways, one of the girls I saw recently had leftover white rice, made crispy rice. It looked awesome. I found a recipe, and I kind of do a hodgepodge between the recipe and what she did.
Great.
And I tried it out this past week, and it was a crowd pleaser for our family. Eloise loved it. Matt loved it. So I'm going to do that next week.
How often are you guys shopping?
Like once every week and a half or so.
Okay.
We try to go 2 weeks, but it's tough to get a full 2 weeks. So usually it's about a week and a half we can go before we have to go back.
Ryan keeps being like, oh, we're out of bagels. We need to go to the store. And I'm like, that's not how this works.
Gotta wait.
Not going to the store for bagels. I'm already going more than most because I still cook for people, but I've been keeping it to once a week and been getting a lot of deliveries. So
yeah, I did one delivery this week to kind of supplement some stuff, but I still had to go to the market because there were things I needed that others, like when you do deliveries, you're just kind of relying on the person to hopefully do their best to look. But I needed some like canned tomatoes and just like some staples we'd gone through.
I've been ordering the delivery like through one of the restaurants in town that turns itself
nice.
Commercial delivery service. So they've given me everything. But the downside is that you have to order like 30 eggs.
I was going to say you cook in bulk, which makes that worthwhile, which
so it's been a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Honestly, cinnamon raisin bagels, we'll bring this back around to raisins. My kids love raisins, and cinnamon raisin bagel is like the thing that makes or breaks any morning. If there are not going to be bagels served, it's
a situation, a problem.
We'll blame my dad for that one too. I think somehow he just like put bagel kneading in our blood. This is a guy who was on an airplane with an extra, just raw, plain panic bagel in his backpack, just in case, because you never know when you're going to be without food and need a bagel.
I mean, it seems reasonable. If you're a bagel lover, it's an easy thing to pack.
I make fun of him, but only because I do the same thing now, and it's also very embarrassing. But it works, and I've definitely needed the bagel. And now I sure wish I had a couple sleeves of panic bagels in my freezer because, but they've been so hard to find. I've gone to the store a whole bunch of times and cannot find bagels. Weirdly, it seems like bagels are the thing. Everybody else is talking about flour, toilet paper, yeast, eggs. I haven't run out of any of those things, but I can't freaking find bagels.
I don't really eat a lot of bagels, so I wasn't looking for any bagels today. So I don't know how the bagel market is going.
Somebody out there is hoarding bagels, and it's
not the Ziskis, I can tell you that much.
It's really starting to affect my family's.
We have a comment here. It says, any chance we could get cooking tips on Tuesday?
Yeah. Okay. So I've also been trying to be online more, and that's part of where this came from, so that you people hear my voice all the time.
So that you can get to know really who is Chef Allison.
My status is when you hear my voice in your head when you walk into the kitchen. So I've been told that in order to do that, I need to talk more online. So on Tuesday,
did you ever think there'd be a time where someone said you had to talk more anywhere?
People tell me all the time they want to hear me talking more.
Okay. All right.
The most money I have ever made doing anything is voicing over videos, just talking.
Yeah, they're writing the content.
Talking. The problem is for an hour at a time, but it's never been a. My favorite compliment is when people walk in their kitchen and they hear my voice in their head talking to them. So I'm just going to keep talking to you until you go to sleep, and your crazy quarantine dreams include me telling you how to microwave your peanut butter into a delicious sauce for your noodles.
I love it. I'm sad I'm not going to eat that right now.
So on Tuesday, I'm going to do a kitchen cooking tip. So if anybody has any questions, we're going to start with the freezer on Tuesday, but that's cross-pollinating here, but that's okay.
Well, just in case, if you're looking for cooking tips on a Tuesday, they're going to be available to you.
Definitely. Yep. And if you're looking for them on Wednesday, they'll be online. So they'll be there forevermore. It doesn't really matter. Great. That's where Bill Parkinson comes from.
We don't have time to get into him right now.
Internet role model now. So
yes. Cheers.
It's good to be back.
Yes, good to be back. I'm looking forward to / nervous for next week, but hopefully we'll get some people tuning in for some crispy rice.
I think it's going to be great. The friend you need, a regular person cooks.
A regular person. That's me. All right. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for coming by.